Thank you, Scott, for giving me this opportunity. So, we make this session more interactive, and what I'm wanting to discuss today, that once we get a trade idea, the usually we trade gaps. So if something is gapping up or a gapping down, and we got a trade idea with the trend, how we can form our conviction on the trade or biases on the trade, on the directional biases or the convictions on the trade by reviewing or analyzing a pre-market price action. Since we are the intraday trader, so any information we receive or we see, in terms of price action, we can take advantage. We can able to see the support resistance. As you know, that all these price action, only thing which tell us is that the balance or the war between the bear and bulls. So for this node, I just wanted to take a little, interaction with you guys. How many of you guys basically make use of pre-market price action? And then I have two case studies which we're going to go in detail, and I'm going to tell you that how sometime pre-market price action help you to gauge how stock is going to be behaving after the market opens. So I want to hear how many of you use the pre-market data for your trading decisions? All right. So far, I hear all the positive answers that all of you guys use the pre-market data. So that's so nice to see that we are using a very important data set here. Yes, for sure. Yes, man, that the pre-market will also show you the interest on the traders, because if something is gapping up and gapping down, you will able to see from the pre-market data. Okay, yeah, Paul A basically use both with or without. And how many you make decisions based on the pre-market? I think that is, I'm going to discuss with you that, what to look in the pre-market action, and how do you evaluate that based on it. So I want to space after hours data as well, but meantime, Gabe going to load the space after hours for the June 1st. Let's discuss the NEO today. So, NEO was gapping up today. If you have following the gapping up, is almost 3% up when the market opens. But I decided based on the price action, I won't want to tell you that what I did, but I'm going to let you see that, how I've evaluated, what are the parameters I've used to understand that sometimes gapping up doesn't mean that the trade is going to continue in the same direction of the gap, right? And maybe it is the time where the gap is going to get close and reverse very much late, right? So I want you to look at the NEO now. So yesterday, if you look at the NEO chart, NEO was gapping down and sharply moved up and closed higher, almost flat, made the doji on the daily chart. Today, in the pre-market, if you look on the chart on the right side, which being displayed, and is on the 5 minutes, so you will see that 4 o'clock when the market opens, you see a gapping up candle, right? Then you will see some kind of a resistance on the 47 after the first 15-20 minutes, and then the stock sell off and come back to the 46.51. All these data points are very important for me as a trader to understand where the sellers are, where is the imbalance in the market, where the buyer wants to buy, and where the buyer doesn't want to buy. So right now, I didn't know anything after that. So far, we have only analyzed the first 1 hour before the 6 o'clock, and we know that buyers are interested in buying after 46.40, and but they don't want to buy anything over 46.80, and suddenly get rejection. Price came back to the balance, which is the mean to revert is around 36.50. Then what we see again after 6 o'clock, the buyers comes in and price moved up all the way to the 47.20. Price couldn't sustain, came back to the VWAP, and again is touching 46.80. So this time, not the 46.50, but the 46.80. So 30 cents up on the side. So we are looking at, now we can see on the pre-market action that this is making a lower lows and higher highs. So it's uptrending even on the pre-market until 7 o'clock. Then from 7 to 8, what I see is a sideways action. And suddenly at 9 o'clock, it dropped to 46.50. And as we noticed, right, 46.60, suddenly the buyers comes in the two candles, stock move over 47.20, and then start again consolidating under 47.20. So before the market opens, now you can see the price action, but I just wanted you to pretend that you have not seen the price action. Based on the data points you have gathered, what do you see what is going to happen in the aftermarket once the market going to open? I had my game plan, but I want you to hear to do this exercise since you have seen now, so you won't be able to be very objective. But I wanted to hear from you the based on the data we have analyzed on the NEO. How would you see that? Would you see that that the NEO is gonna continue uptrend, or do you see is going to fail, or do you see going to sideways action? What do you expect after looking at the first pre-market data on the NEO? All right. So we got two comments. One is that we need to look left on the daily, and we also got the comment that it's gonna sideways. So if you look at yesterday, as Paul said, the daily, you will find that yesterday Neo tried a lot to go to green, but it remained doji and closed it. And on the pre-market action, I clearly see there is a resistance around 47.20. To make it very simple, because algo is very simple to operate on the whole numbers, as Scott always says. So let's look at it. 47 is the resistance. So for me, when I made the trade plan, I was thinking that anything, if the NEO lose the 47 support after the market opens, it's going to be a great shot. That was my plan, because yesterday it couldn't go in the pre-market. We'll clearly see that there is no buyer wanted to pay anything to the NEO over 47. And that is what my price action reading based on the data I have gathered in from 4 o'clock a.m. to 9 o'clock. And I feel that this is very important data. And just don't look at this as a candles. These are not just candles. This is going to tell you that where buyers are more interested, where sellers are more interested. And if you look at the, even when it broke at 9 o'clock at 47.20, there's only two candles with a low, with a smaller volume, and there's no continuation after 9:10. So for me, I see as is what I call kind of a algo manipulative gapping up to trap buyers weekends to go long and then currently start selling off. And that exactly the price action had. I had my short entries under 47. It was immediately sell off on the first minute, so I couldn't go, under 47. If you see, it already broke in the pre-market, the 47 level. If you look at the 5-minute candle, but the moment it broke 46.80, which was a resistance created in the pre-market, I went short with the right all the way to the 45.80 and then some partial along the way. And that's why it is very important for the day trader to take advantage, to understand where is the support, where buyers are interested, and where our sellers are going to be interested in selling. Because as individual day trader, we might not have a power to move the stocks in any direction. Our job is to see that who is winning and join their group. So if the bulls are winning, we're going to go long and take the advantage. If the bears are winning, as a small trader, our job is to join a selling side and we take advantage of a small imbalance. That is an interesting question. So right now I have two examples what I've selected where the stock didn't continue the gap. But I can ask Gabe to pull one more data point where I've traded today. The DIDI is a new IPO, is Uber China. I've traded on the long side. It was also a gap and go, and on that stock, I was expecting a continuation. It's gonna little bit come down and move back up. So I can show you the DIDI, and then we can go back to space. So if you look at the DD, I was very on the pre-market. I was just praying that it shouldn't break 1160 in the pre-market, but we were just a bit unlucky that it broke 1160 in the pre-market. But then I was waiting for the reversal to come down, and we went long back again on the 1160. So now, but before I give you my trade idea, now we look at the difference between the price action of DIDI and the NEO, and you will see the difference. If you look at it, just the pre-market, we're going to discuss the daily a bit later of the DIDI, but if you look at the pre-market, you can clearly see at the 4 a.m. a continuation of the buyers, and it went all the way to 1180. Let me open on my side as well. So yeah, it went all the way to $12. And if you look at the prior day, or the 2 days follow of the daily, the $12 was a strong support, which become the resistance now. And you remember, I think 2 days ago, Michael had a very beautiful trade on DIDI long over 12. And the reason was that the $12 was a resistance. It broke. We took the advantage, came back against, and has become the resistance. And in the pre-market action, again, you can see this $12 in the first hour was an important resistance. So it started 4 a.m. action. It went all the way to around 540, found a resistance that at the $12, buyers are not willing to buy anything over $12. And sellers are more interested to sell. Buyers are also interested to take the partials, profit booking, and you see that immediately reached to 12, and you see a pullback, came back to the 1165 area. Then after 6 o'clock, I see there's another new buyers came in, bought the stock, went all the way to the 1185, and then no continuation, stock moved down. And I can clearly see now from 7:30 to 9 o'clock, the stock is consolidating underneath between 1150 and 1160. So very tight range, 10 cents range for the stock to consolidate, accumulating the new buyers to come in, deciding what direction need to be. Right now there is no balance, nor the short wanted to short because the bears are saying that 1160 is too risky, and the bulls are not willing to buy because they wanted to see that what going to be the action. So right now, market is stuck between 7:30 to 9 o'clock. There was no direction at this point. And I was waiting to see, and I was hoping that the stock should not break in the pre-market. So then we kind of have a beautiful entry after the market opens. But unfortunately, as you know, if I'm looking at it, there may be many other traders also looking at it. So if you can see clearly, the pre-market stock broke these levels. Luckily, it went all the way to the last level, which was created on 1185, and then couldn't continue. Market opens, no continuation, immediate sell-off, and that is called the gap and go strategy. And you can look at it, the stock holded the 1150 level. And this is the example what you're asking, that how would we know that the stock is going to hold that levels and going to reverse? This is a prime example, a tight consolidation, a nice support have been built on 1150. Stock came down, touched 1150, moved back up. I went long on 1165, ride it all the way to the 1215. Then it pulled back down. I added into my position. We had another ride on 1220, and then it stopped out on $12. And then it complete sell-off. As I said, this is not only the candles. Look at it from the people who are buying. No buyer is interesting at this point to buy over $12. Our sellers are interested in to sell the stock once it moves to $12, unless there is a new buyers comes in and they're willing to bet on this company over $12. But at this point, you can see clearly sell off went all the way to 11. Again, the new buyers comes in and buying and pushing the price up, because the sellers are not interested in selling anything after 1165, after $11, and in buyers are more interested in buying on this area. So there's definitely, just looking at this channel, you can also look at the day before, a lot of I think from 12 o'clock to the 4 o'clock, there's price action between 1120 to 1150. So definitely a lot of people are interested in buying this stock on this price range. So that's the way you know that whether the buyer is going to come in and the trend is going to continue or not. Let's go back to the space. Space is a very interesting example, because on the space, after hours, is a news broke, stock went up all the way, I think over 20% went up, and all the traders or new traders or so many traders thinking that on the June 2nd, the space going to further going to continue and going to go long. I was thinking it's not going to go. It's not because of my intuition. It's because of the price action. So, Gabe, if you can go back to the space on the June 2nd. And before we move, meantime, the space is loading. Do you guys have any question so far what we have discussed? All right, awesome. So no questions. Feel free to ask the question. The more the question you're going to ask, more everyone going to learn, and we're going to make it more interactive, and also allow me to think again and reflect on the questions. The questions are important for learning for both ways. So I think we do not have the price action after the 5:30, but if you have your own charts, if you can reload it, and you will see that after 6 o'clock, the news broke, and from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, the stock went up from 44 to the 53. It is not on the screen. You can see the data after the 5:30. But if you have your own charts, you can go back and look at the June 1st after hours. And then now look at the before market opens data on the June 2nd. So this is, I think, the 15 minutes chart. Gabe, if you can put the 5-minute chart on this. Yeah. So now, let me ask you the question. So don't just pretend that you don't know what happened. Just look at the price action on the pre-market between 4 o'clock to 9:30, and you tell me what you think going to happen for the space. Alfred, this is an interesting question. So volume is important, right? To predict what is going to be happen, but you need to see the overall picture, what happened in the pre-market. I usually don't rely on the stocks if the pre-market action is less than 300,000 shares. If overall action in the pre-market, if the volume is less than 300,000 shares, I do not rely on that price action. I need to see at least 300,000 shares, but some people may have a less or more, but I personally love to see, and my criteria is starts at least 250,000 to 300,000. I expect to have that. If there's not enough volume, then I might not even consider trading because I don't have a reliable pre-market information unless it is too good on the pre-market on the daily level. Then there's something different story. Then there's a different system, right? If you're trading on the daily, right now we are only focusing on the gapping based on the pre-market action. Of course, the daily should support the direction as well, but our more focus of the discussions on today that how to read the pre-market with have a sufficient volume. So if you, let me ask you, can you guys please comment on it that, what you think by looking at just the price action between from 4 a.m. to 9:30, what do you think about the space? Because that is going to help you to reflect anytime you will see that whether the price is going to get hold or is not going to it. I was short biased on the stock since the market opened. And you can see is short is it was lower all day, but I wanted you to predict this. I was predicting this based on the price action. So this is very interesting comment that Scott has, right? That so I was not wanted to. I was short biased, but I don't want to short in the first 15 minutes when the gap up when the stock gapped up more than 20%, because I knew that there's going to be a buyers and sellers war, and I'm going to join where who is the winning. So in the first 15 minutes, usually when the stock is too much volume and gapped up with the hype, you are unable to predict in the first 15-20 minutes what direction it will take unless you need to wait to see. So let's discuss the pre-market. So if you look at the pre-market of the space, you will notice that even the first candle on the 5-minute chart, what you see nothing but the red candle, right? So I see the first green candle touched all the way to the 59 and then moved back down, and there was no follow through in the pre-market with the stock gapped up that much. Until 6 a.m., it was trading around the 55 level, which was the aftermarket hours high. Then I see at the 6:30, stock made one more push up, went up to the 57, immediately rejected, and again went back to the same level of the 55. And I was thinking that if the stock going to break the 55 level, then it's definitely going to go and touch the 52 or the 51 level area, because that was the uh, support area created in after hours. We can see, unfortunately, you can go back and look at your charts, but you will see that that was the price action I'm looking at. So I'm saying that right now, by looking at it between the price action between 4 a.m. to 7:30 a.m., that no buyer wanted to buy this stock over $58. No buyers wanted to buy. No buyers even wanted to buy anything over 57. In fact, the moment the price touched 57, buyers are taking profit and the sellers are more interested in selling. So there is a more selling pressure I see uh, on this area between 57. And as you move along between 7 to 7:30, 7:30 to 8, and you will see that as price is moving down, sellers are getting more interested, buyers are getting less interested in buying this stock. And once the market opened, as you said, that you stopped out, it may be because you are shorting it on the support area. If you look at the after hours area, after hours price action, you will find a big support between 50 to 52. That is going the key level, and it's 50 is also the half whole number, and it's very interesting level as well. So people, some traders are really reluctant to go short on just close to 50 when the first time it's breaking down, because whole numbers have a big resistance, and especially like 50, the tens number, 50, 80, 100, 20s. These numbers sound so good, sound so interesting, and usually stock hold those levels very much. And if you look at the price action, stocks came down, touched the 50.23, immediately bounced back on the first 5 minutes. And reason is being because so many short sellers who have shorted the stocks on the pre-market, they have a price action in their mind that they want to cover around 50.55. A lot of the buy on the dip, buyers wanted to buy on the whole number. So a lot of buyers are interested in 50. So there is a lot of interesting war between, and ultimately who won? The buyers win. Price went all the way up to the 54.50, and immediately no other buyer wanted to continue. Immediate sell-off. Price went back to the balance between the 50 level. So what I'm saying, that don't look at just these candles. These candles have a sentiments, emotions, and everyone in the stock market wanted to make money, and nobody would like to lose money, right? So it's not like that I see the pattern, I wanted to short. No, market doesn't work like that. You need to see that who is winning here, who is losing here. So if in the first oral analysis we clearly see that there is a support, buyer doesn't want to buy at the high prices, seller are more interested on the higher side, there is a support on the 50, but whether the buyer wanted to hold that and buy more on the 50, and based on the price action after the first 20 minutes, you will clearly see that buyers are not even interested in buying anything even under 50. Just imagine, only 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago, this stock was trading on a $15, right? A lot of institutional investors bought this, retail customers bought it, and they are taking now profit on this news. And continue down, 2 days, 3 days of continuation. Then we saw a big gap up yesterday, and that's what happened, that that people are not wanted to buy on the higher prices. They wanted to buy on the lower prices, and seller are interested on more selling on the higher side. This is the market or price action, or uh, analysis I love to draw every day. When I look at the stock, I say, okay, who is winning? Right? Who is winning here? Is the buyers are winning or sellers are winning? And I wanted to join who is winning. And based on those ideas, I will make my conviction, and my convictions get witnessed or with more evidence when I get my confirmation signals using the patterns, the flagging or any other pattern you like to trade. And all these together, when combined together, you made the decision. So if I just rephrase it, for any trade idea to work, what are the things you need? You need first trade idea. Then you need a confirmation indicator that when you think that you're gonna go, or you're gonna execute on the trade. You need a stop loss, right? And you need a profit target. Without these four things, your idea will remain the idea. You will never able to actually make advantage or take advantage of your idea. You need all four these things in order to make a successful trade. So guys, to you, I already took more than the time. So any more questions? Any clarity you need? So, Walid, the point I was saying that once you get an idea that, okay, you think that this stock is trending and you want to go long, you need at least the four ideas, four things in order to execute properly your trade. You need first trade idea, but you need a confirmation of your trade idea. So it could be some people love to trade the VWAP as a confirmation indicator. Okay, I'm long biased, whether the stock is trending above the VWAP or the below the VWAP if I'm short bias. So you need a confirmation indicator based on your own parameters. Then you need a stop area where you want to stop. Then you need an entry where you're going to enter, right? First, always ask you that if this trade is not going to work, what is going to be your stop loss? Because always think the bad thing for yourself first. Because if you're just going to think about the entry and the profit, uh, sometime you're going to go bigger size and you're going to lose money. So always think about the stop first, entry second, and then your profit targets. And then all together align with your risk reward ratio. Then you go and execute those trades. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. If you have no more question, I will be staying a few more minutes in the chat room. If you want to ask more questions, I'm willing to help you out and answer. If not, then Michael can take over the screen. Thank you, Gabe. Thank you, Gabe and Clifton, for helping me out and sharing the screen and setting up for me.